They still got this house. My man Edwin, Mickey, and Godo. They got a lot of bread on this block selling Herion. And as you can see, their family still own all this property over here. And those was my peoples. Right down here, I'm gonna show you the house in which they had the Anheuser-Busch. That's Herion pumping 100 miles an hour. Yeah, they was passing out over here like flies, which I'm gonna show you. It was right across the street from the Logan St God, which is the spot in which we got plenty of money from. Longest running crack spot in East New York. But this building right here is the building that Edwin and Godo got rich out of with that H. One time they had a joint called Anheuser-Busch, and it was knocking everybody's heads off. Okay, I'm gonna come back later on with a whole big story on Godo, Edwin, and Mickey. Peace. Okay, peace, my people. I'm getting ready to bring y'all into another area. This is another part of Logan Street, and I'm going across the street. This was first, all this belonged to my man, Pop. All this was Sxhool's back in the 70s. He had this, and he also had this over here. See, we made so much money off of here. 553, that was the doorway into the spot. This was Sxhool's. But as you can see, they bricked it all up, and they'll never allow it to ever be a drug spot again. On the corner, the guy Gene, who owned this store, also ended up owning these spots right here that used to be Sxhool's. And when Pop gave it up, he gave it to a cat named George. George eventually started smoking real crazy, and that's when Don Uli came in. And we turned it from a weed gate into a crack spot, which lasted for over 10 to 12 years. And I want to say that mainly because we didn't have a lot of violence. We was a guard, so we was civilized. There's no justification for the destruction that we still participated in. But like I said, even the police used to pull us over sometime leaving out the store and say, we know what you're doing, but because we got so much violence going on with all these other so-called drug gangs in the community, that we gonna wait till we clean them up first, and then we gonna get to y'all. Yeah, we had a couple of stash houses, a couple of nice Puerto Rican chicks, Blondie across the street. And I think her name was Josetta, you know? So we could always leave our drugs and our guns stashed up in the cribs that we had throughout the block. I'm gonna walk up the block to also show y'all not only did we have that spot on the corner, but we had a couple of other spots, you know? Puerto Ricans and the blacks, we always got along pretty good out here, especially on this side of East New York. You know? Used to be a number gate on the corner in that store. And then down here we used to hustle and get plenty of dough. You know? The last hurrah, Dar Uli and them had a spot Right here on this corner, as you can see, they changed it into a unisex salon. And also across the street, where that gate is open, we ended up putting a spot up there too. I know it wasn't right, but back in the 80s, that's how it went. You could throw a spot up anywhere around here. Okay. So we're gonna let that one be that for now. Now we'll come back. All right, peace, peace, peace. God in them streets. I'm now going to take you to the corner of Fountain and Belmont. Right here on the corner now is a house built, but it was a big 3-story, 2-story building. And this is where we took over, or not took over, but a brother by the name of Mentally Allah stopped me on the corner down there on Southern Fountain. And he said, "Young God, you building so hard, I want to give you something." So he gave us this building right here, which you can see right now is all houses. But this was the Fountain of Youth, right here on the corner of Fountain and Belmont. It's also the place, like I said, you have to make choices in your life. And this was one of the places that made me make the choice to leave and go down to college. And that was only because I had got robbed, me and my man, King of Law, in a dice game up here. Matter of fact, a few blocks down the other way, I was working for Manpower, summer 1980. And they stuck us up. And I want to say about maybe a year later, we still had the school that the guy, Hippo, Puerto Rican, walked in there. And I told my brother, Minister Allah, that put the battery in my pack, "Yo, that's the Spanish cat that robbed me and King of Law." And he pulled out a 12-gauge shotgun, which we had took for some cats out in Far Rockaway. That's another story with Spady and them. And the guy came upstairs from downstairs in the bathroom, and I pulled the shotty on him, and he broke down and got on his knees and begged me not to kill him. He said, "Please, God, don't kill me." And if it wasn't for the blessings and the wisdom of my OG, Malik, God Allah, that been out here forever in the East teaching, I might have caught a born sight for divine Y and wouldn't have never made it to college nor graduate from college. So always keep in mind, even though there was brothers out here that taught us how to do the wrong thing, there was always brothers out here that protected us and made sure we had the knowledge of self and that we was living a righteous and civilized life. Hard thing to do when you come up in an area like this. This right here is another big building. You know, Buccaneer Lords used to be here back in the days. I remember one time a cat from the Sex Boys named Eddie Machete ran up on, I'm gonna call him once again, Goldie 163/Waco. And he ran up on him on this building. Of course, they renovated this building now. But when he ran up on him, he had a .22 rifle. The steps was a lot further up at that time. And Goldie 163/Waco was sitting on the step. And when he rolled up with the .22 rifle and pointed it at him, he snatched it from him. and started chasing him down the street with it. You know, so there's so many different capers that done took place in this neighborhood. This right here, Tony's supermarket. Tony been here forever. That's right, he been here from the 60s. And as you can see, he done went from a regular store into a supermarket. You know? I doubt it if any of these guys are still here. You know? But this is what they look like now. I just was telling them I've been around here since this store in the 60s. I remember when your pops had this store as a little store. Tony and Gene. Okay? So just tell your pops one of the old timers, the 18 came through, and I got y'all in the YouTube. Thank you. Yeah, so make sure y'all know everything. You're welcome, bro. It's authentic. You know? I don't know what happened. This Chinese restaurant been here forever. This is where the Buccaneer Lords used to sit in. Back then they had tables. A lot of people were scared to come up here and even get Chinese food, you know, because the gangs controlled it. But this store right here, I mean, this cleaners, it been here forever too. So I guess I done took y'all on another little tour, and I'll be back with all these stories in the very near future. Peace. All right, peace, peace. This is God in them streets. I got another little story for y'all that's gonna be short. This alley right here, I didn't take the time out to expound upon this when we made our move as being the 18, you know what I'm saying, up here to across the street, which was the original 2 buildings that we hustled out of, and the Dominican hustled out of this alleyway. And what I would like to say to that is that how Glaze and Tut became temporary members of the A-Team, or how they really became a part of the A-Team, was that when we made this move and decided to come up here, like Glaze said, with L, you know, my OG that put the battery in my pack, Minister Allah, that when we decided to take it, we had about 10 or 15 guns when we came up here to make the move. And a part of the move was, if we were successful, that the A-Team, the 5%ers, would give Glaze and Tut. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say Fat, Tone. I could use Frank Nitty because he's dead. Tut, and my man, a few more other cats that I really don't want to mention their names right now because they might be doing other things in their life. But when we moved it down to the projects, the agreement was that they could get Tuesday to Thursday. I was supposed to be like one of the leaders of that, with the Tuesday to Thursday down in the projects. But I decided that I didn't want to have nothing to do with that, only because I trusted those individuals, but back then, as a 5%er, we didn't trust anybody but 5%ers. So I decided to go around the corner with the Logan Guards. And that's how Glaze and Tut became a part of the A-Team for a temporary moment. And everything was good for a while. And then, you know, eventually things got a little bit slow. So they had to be shut down. So it didn't end up working out anyway. I know Glaze tells it like, he stepped off from the situation, and I think Tut did also. So that's a little bit of history of why they was affiliated with the A-team like that. And also, another thing, people got to remember that when you got projects and you got different areas, sometimes one crew might be bubbling so hard that everybody that's from that area, they give them association with them, even though they may not be really, truly players or individuals that are participating or involved with those activities. So at that time, you had a lot of times when people left up out of Cypress Hills, became one. And because the team was putting in a lot of work and making a lot of noise, that if you was from Cypress, then you was classified as being a part of the A-team, which was not necessarily true, but I just wanted to set the record straight on how Tut and Glaze became temporarily a part of the A-team. I will be back with more official stories on the A-team. This is just another little, knowledge of what was going on. All right, peace. All right, peace. This is God in them streets. Once again, I'm now making my move toward the infamous Linden Plaza, as the guards called it, Mount Everest. This is where the GMG gets started, which is Getting Money God's. And that's because my man Kendu, Rason, and they older brother Two-Bar moved out here. I knew Kendu as a guard before he even got out here because we used to play for Brooklyn, USA together. Over here is the Bear House. Cat Bob used to be in there. Black Sisha Bay could get all the free beer and whatever he wanted from him, But that's how the guards moved back then. I told y'all before on Autumn and Hemlock, Autumn and Pine, you had two guys that owned the store named Africa and Muhammad. And they was from Ethiopia. And they would give the guards whatever they wanted, even the guard you. Yeah, Allah coach of guards at that time before they was even really on the map. But anyway, here's a famous spot that we used to build in and hang out. It's called the Snake. And all the guards used to be down here up front, building and everything. I'm gonna have to take y'all by an unfortunate manner because before or even during when the guards was up here, it was also another crew that was formulated called the LP crew, the Linden Plaza crew. They consist of Chab, Rakim, Lamate, Riley, and a few other cats. Of course, the main cat I'm gonna talk about, one of the main cats that unfortunately was executed. His name was Wilco. And when it happened, there was another bench back there. That's what it was. There was a bench about right over here. And this bench that morning, you know, we used to get drunk back then or whatever, drinking Old Gold and stay out until the morning. So it wasn't nothing for somebody to be out here on the bench in the morning, you know, sleep or, you know, intoxicated from the night before. But unfortunately, he was out here on the bench looking like he was asleep. But he was dead. Yeah. Wilco was dead. Allah bless those who return to the essence, because it wasn't like that. Ain't nobody had nothing against the brother. I don't know how it happened, but that's where they found him. All right here is the infamous building number 5. I think I'm gonna go up the steps, you know, that way I don't gotta go through the actual building. I could go up the steps, you know. But like I said, I'm getting ready to go up the steps, which is the main entrance coming off of Sutter Avenue. Across the street, they got a park that they, you know, dedicated to this cop, Rob Vanderbilt, or Vanderbilt. He got killed in a drug raid up on Pickens Avenue. I don't know if the park is still in his name or not. But anyway, before I go up there, I want to show you where we used to have a lot of parties before they started holding them across the street in the park. We used to have a lot of parties down here. And I know y'all know there was a lot of crazy shit that went on down here. It's the underground, the Plaza. As you can see, Mount Everest is 29,120 feet high, because this is the highest foundation in Brooklyn. You know? This is the highest. So the whole Linden Plaza was built over the A train line, which is the law line. Yeah, a lot of cats got stabbed up, shot, and all that back in the days down here playing music. And I would advise you, if you wasn't God, or if you was God and you didn't know your lessons, then this was not the place for you to be, because we always had ciphers building each and every day, each and every way. And I'm going to show and prove by teaching the laws 5% nation the right way. But anyway, I'm going to go on up here, you know, up the steps leading to building 5. A lot of crazy shit happening over here too, excuse my expression. But a few people had to come running or flying down these steps. So once again, like I said, we're taking the journey up to Mount Everest. And the first building that we're gonna run into is the famous, infamous building number 5. I was brought here to this building to meet Black C. Shabay, who was an official Tomahawk, also taught by firstborn Black Messiah. And he's the one who's held responsible for bringing the knowledge up here on Mount Everest full blast. I say around the end of God understanding going into God culture. This was built in God knowledge. For those that don't know our math, that's 1971. Okay, we used to be all out here hustling, doing our thing. Well, really, before the hustling, it was a lot of building. You know, Rondu in this building, Naquan, Black Sea Shabay, Ramel, Prince, of course, Kendu, Rasun. We used to be right here in this lobby, getting it on, you know? It's coming through, left and right, you know? Plaza, you know, is a co-op back in the day, so it was real nice when it came up. This is another spot that y'all used to find us in, right here, inside the parking lot, all right? You know? We used to be in here, all type of foreign cars, Benzes, everything, big bottles of Moet, champagne, you know? Getting it on. You know, as you can see, it's a pretty large, pretty long parking lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let y'all look down at the train yard. All right? That's how you can see it was built up over the train yard. Okay, we're gonna continue a little bit more. I'm not gonna give y'all once again everything all at once, but I just wanted to take y'all through Mount Everest, Linden Plaza, you know what I'm saying? Show y'all how we used to be out here all the time, getting bread, you know? Peace, what's good, y'all? All right? Yeah, so it's good. I heard my man Kendu should be coming home next year, and he definitely deserved to come home. His brother was not violent like that. He got a lot of bread, but we wasn't about dropping bodies or anything like that unnecessarily, because we believe in righteousness. Looks like my phone is getting ready to go dead, so I may not be able to complete this.